So I want to begin by thanking my family. My youngest daughter, Susie, is here and missing rowing practice to be here today. So thanks, Susie, for giving up something I know you love and your willingness to face the wrath of your coach in the process. My oldest daughter, Vivian, is actually missing something even bigger. She's missing a water polo game, and in fact, a water polo tournament game. So, thanks, V, for choosing this. And I know that you're willing to give up a few extra laps in the pool probably when you go to practice next time for this. But anyway, it's great to have you here. And finally, my wife, Blake. She's here even though on Monday she started a new job as the new executive vice president of the Aerospace Corporation. So impressive, yeah. So she, promptly started and took off work early to come here, so thank you. Thanks, Blake, for always supporting me and even somehow pulling off the trifecta of being an amazing wife, the best mom ever, and the world's most beautiful aerospace executive. So I've been here, turns out, for a little more than 7 months now. And what a 7 months it's been. I don't need to remind the folks here that we've had to do some necessary but difficult steps recently. In fact, a lot of people came to me and they said, geez, hope you're okay. How are you doing? But the answer I keep giving is that I've been doing hard things alongside great people. The leadership in this college is wonderful. The list of leaders includes a bunch of excellent department chairs, Vice Dean Renee Perez, and a great college-wide staff, as well as divisional deans Aaron, Bill, Ian, and Rebecca, and college deans Emily and Steve. Thanks for being so dedicated, collegial, smart, creative, and simply for being a joy to work with. It means a lot. I also want to thank my predecessor, Interim Dean Mo Al-Najjar, who's back there, Steve Bradforth as the Executive Vice Dean, and the fabulous group of USC deans who really welcomed me here, and it is really with great pride that I sit alongside you. And to Andrew and Byong, you've been so supportive, and I'm grateful that I get to work under your guidance. It's significant. I'd also like to thank Kathy Leventhal and the rest of the Dornsife Board of Counselors who provided such sage advice since the time of my recruitment. And finally, though they couldn't be here today, I do want to offer deep appreciation for Dave and Dana Dornsife, who are among the most impactful and thoughtful Trojans in the history of this university. So, okay, now I'd like to share a personal story to give you a sense of how I came to stand here today. One of my earliest memories was from when I was about 5 years old and my dad brought home a telescope. He had borrowed this from a friend and he set it up at the yard, pointed up at the moon. So before this, to me, the moon had just been a light in the sky. But when I looked through that little eyepiece, I saw it was different. I saw that there were craters and shadows and things that looked like mountains. And I couldn't have explained it then, but this experience sparked something. It changed the way I thought about the world and my place in it. First, there's a lot to learn. And second, the universe is big. Much bigger than my little yard, much bigger than my town. And in fact, so big that it made differences that I felt like between me and other people seemed small. And it turns out the moon is 240,000 miles away. That's pretty far. But it's really nothing compared to the distance of the sun. The sun is 92 million miles away. Light, which travels at 186,000 miles every second, takes more than 8 minutes to get to the Earth from the sun. And so what that means is that we see the sun as it was 8 minutes ago. But even that distance is tiny compared to the universe we know. The light from the most distant galaxies observed with the James Webb Space Telescope has taken more than 13 billion years to get here. We see these galaxies as they were at the very dawn of the universe. In fact, we see these galaxies as they were before our planet, the Earth, existed. In fact, the most distant galaxies we see, we're seeing them as they were before the carbon atoms in your DNA existed. Now, for some people, the vastness of space and the depth of cosmic time makes them feel a little insignificant. But if you feel this way, there's another way to look at it. You are a member of the species who figured this out. Here on this tiny planet, in a blink of a cosmic eye, we've learned some phenomenal things. We are fragile and short-lived, but also capable of the incredible. Human beings are made of atoms. Those atoms are forged in the hearts of stars. Yet they are somehow assembled in a way that allows us to look up at the night sky and ask big questions, write extraordinary novels, love and collaborate with each other, and seek to understand something of our place in the universe. If you can hold these truths in your mind at the same time, that we are both incredibly precious and incredibly capable, then you can begin to recognize a few things. Every moment we have is special. Every connection, every act of creation and discovery. To study ourselves through the humanities and social sciences is to study the miraculous. To study the rest of creation through the natural sciences is equally profound. When people hear the words liberal arts, they often misunderstand the phrase. You might think of some specific subjects, and you might even think that the liberal arts are synonymous with majors that are a waste of time. But of course, that's wrong. The term liberal arts originates from the Latin phrase ars liberalis, where liberalis means free, and more specifically, the kind of free that is the opposite of servile. Ars means skill, the kind of skill that allows a person to grow and succeed. The liberal arts are then about empowering free people with the skills they need to thrive. The first person on record to refer to the liberal arts was Cicero, the great Roman statesman who lived 2,000 years ago. He advised that the best ways to prepare free citizens for a successful, thriving life was a broad-based education that included understanding of human emotion, skills in literary expression, and comprehensive scientia of many things. Cicero said that education should be about fundamental understanding, communication, and critical thinking. Sound familiar? So here we are, 2 millennia later, asking what to do as educators. With the rise of AI, the future of work and society itself is uncertain as it's ever been. It seems wise then to prepare students with evergreen fundamental skills that will allow them to lead into the future no matter what it is. And in that, we need to deliver on what the liberal arts have always been about. The Dornsife College of Letters, Arts, and Sciences is so well positioned to lead in an era when the liberal arts will be more crucial, more essential than ever. The college consists of 36 academic departments, divided among 4 large, thriving divisions: humanities, social sciences, life sciences, and the division of mathematics and physical sciences. There is excellence throughout, including an English department with 2 Pulitzer Prize winners in the past 10 years. We are also home to multiple path-breaking institutes that drive impact out from the Ivy Tower into the world. Programs like Public Exchange, the Wrigley Institute, the Center for the Political Future are working to improve communities, nurture the environment, and promote dialogue across the political divide. And speaking of impact, I would like to remind everyone here that our USC chemistry department is one of only 8 in the country with multiple Nobel Prizes. One of those prizes, to George Olah, recognized his work on carbocations, which is directly responsible for modern methods used to produce lead-free gasoline. I looked it up, and recent estimates suggest that lead-free gasoline saves more than 1 million lives per year. So on behalf of Dornsife, you're welcome. As we position ourselves to be premier liberal arts college in the country, it's important that we focus on a phrase that keeps coming up in discussions of higher education, and that is return on investment. I would argue that the long-term return on investment from the liberal arts has always been its selling point. The breadth provided by a deep understanding of the scope of history or foundational mathematics sets the stage for long-term success in jobs of import and meaning. Nevertheless, the short-term return on investment, the ability for a student to get a job on day one, is a place where liberal arts majors often face steeper hurdles. An employer might ask, I know you're smart and a deep thinker and all, but what can you do for me tomorrow? To help alleviate this pinch, Dornsife is piloting a new degree offering for USC called an intensive. Intensives are focused three-course sequences designed to document valuable employment-focused skills and proficiencies. Some examples of the intensives we're developing include AI for molecular biology, financial and practical economics, mathematical data science, i.e. foundational AI, and writing and communication in the age of AI. Intensives will appear on transcripts and probably their LinkedIn profiles and provide evidence of valuable skills to future employers. Our broader goal is to innovate in the education space and focus our attention on providing students with a modern approach to the liberal arts, true to its foundational principles, but updated for the students of today. So as I move to close, I'd like to return to that night when I was 5, looking up through that little telescope for the first time. I explained to you how a major thing happened with me that night that shaped my future. But something else happened that night that I didn't quite recognize until I was actually putting this talk together. My dad hit a home run. He brought home that telescope probably because he hoped that I would like it, that my brother would like it. And it worked. It helped me discover a passion for something that ultimately led to where I'm standing today. Isn't this what we all want for our kids? We want them to discover something that inspires them, something they can build upon, and yes, hopefully a career, but more importantly, to have a fulfilled and happy life. The purpose and value of higher education is fundamentally linked to the pursuit of happiness. Being exposed to great literature, deep ideas, and beautiful artistic notions is part and parcel of that quest. And that part has nothing to do with grades or job titles or even income streams. Once your belly and bank accounts are full, what do we reach for? We reach, metaphorically at least, for the stars. Thank you. Bye now.